Get in the circle.
The ARH Flood Distribution Center in Hazard is closing its doors to the public soon. Why organizers made the decision coming up. And a historic home on a school campus in Breathitt County is destroyed during a fire.
And we are tracking a big cool down by this weekend. I have your full forecast coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We have some sad news to start the newscast with this half hour out of Breathitt County. The family of one of the missing flood victims says a body found near Clayhole is that of Nancy Cundiff. Cundiff's body was found along the bank of Troublesome Creek on Saturday, with the level of decomposition making it hard for the Breathitt County coroner to identify even whether it was a man or a woman. So the body was taken to the medical examiner's office for identification, where it was compared against DNA samples of family members and dental records of both Cundiff and Vanessa Baker, who's also been missing since the flooding in late July. Now Baker is still missing, so the death toll from the flood is now at 41. The Appalachian Regional Healthcare Flood Distribution Center at the old J.C. Penney building in Hazard is closing its doors to the public at the end of the week. It is still open right now for anyone needing relief supplies. WYMT's Dakota Makris explains why ARH decided to close the center.
The ARH Flood Distribution Center opened shortly after flooding hit eastern Kentucky. It quickly became a hub for those impacted by flooding, regardless of county, to pick up supplies.
We've had about 5,500 families come through. About 20,000 people have come through here.
The center is usually packed with supplies, volunteers, and those picking up items. And now, more than 2 months after the flood, needs are beginning to shift.
This is our area. All of our people are here. Our families are here. The people we serve are here. So we want to make sure that we are definitely taking a leadership position in there and help make sure that our communities are safe.
ARH leadership recently met to decide what is next for the center. They decided to close the center to the public at the end of the business day on Friday to begin its next phase.
We're going to reconfigure everything to support the community in ways where we're going to make sure that we got furniture packages, we have kitchenware packages, some winter clothing, things like that.
However, the center will serve as a warehouse for those supplies, working with charities and government organizations.
This facility is definitely going to be here through at least the winter to see what the need is at that point, but we're definitely not abandoning the area.
Helping Eastern Kentuckians heal. In Hazard, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
We're told there is a coat drive happening at the ARH headquarters in Lexington. We're also told a Toyota dealership in Knoxville reached out to organize its own coat drive. You can continue to drop off donations at the distribution center. During the flood, several state troopers with KSP Post 13 in Hazard were devastated, with some even losing their homes. Today in Whitesburg, members of KSP Post 13 and the local VFW gathered to present those officers with checks. Whitesburg VFW Commander Jay Perkins, who is a state trooper himself, helped raise the money.
Several counties, several troopers out of the Hazard Post just decimated by the flood, and us being veterans and me being the commander here and also with the state police, is near to my heart, and we've come up with some money.
Around $18,000 was raised and donated to the affected officers. We'll have much more on their stories tonight at 11. Knott County officials are warning folks to beware of scams trying to take advantage of flood victims. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox has more on that problem.
While thousands have flocked into the area with a good cause to help flood victims, some have other ideas.
You can expect out of county, out of state entities to come in here and try to take advantage of this situation.
A warrant has been issued for Christian Sondland, a man from Somerset accused of taking $4,000 from a flood victim and did not complete any work.
This particular individual, I guess, when there was a need for FEMA estimates, had contacted various nonprofit entities and agreed to come here and do some estimates for folks in order to get the FEMA appeals started.
Given the circumstance, Knott County locals are in need of people they can trust more than ever.
At their darkest hour, they don't need to worry about someone coming in and taking advantage of them. They need our help.
After hearing scam stories and relief issues, Kate took it upon herself to make forms ensuring people could get help from those they trust. Since the flood, she has served 1,000 meals each day and listened to what survivors need.
So that's why I'm still here, is because those 1,000 that have come to me every day have become my family. And they are being scammed, they're being taken advantage of, and that's horrible.
This makes prosecution even more important to Knott County officials, which is why they have started by issuing an arrest warrant for Sondland.
This kind of action does show that here in Knott County, we're not going to tolerate our people being taken advantage of.
Still fighting crime in the toughest time for many Eastern Kentuckians. In Knott County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Tim Bates says they are working with law enforcement in Pulaski County to serve the warrant.
The sun is starting to set on day 2 of the Jenny Wiley Festival in downtown Prestonsburg, but still the weather could not be better. Here is another look at some beautiful weather right now over at the WYMT studio, looking at plenty of sunshine and blue sky right now. Just a beautiful afternoon and turning into a beautiful evening as well. Same story over at Whitesburg, looking at plenty of sunshine in this location as well in Letcher County. Current temperatures upper 60s, lower 70s for most of us. How about middle 70s though for Somerset and Irvin, and upper 70s right now in Manchester, 77, 69 for Prestonsburg and over in Pikeville. Up on satellite and radar, we are dry. We do have a few clouds overhead, but overall the weather is fantastic tonight, and that will continue into your Friday, but we could see a few showers on Friday, and really we could see a few showers as early as tonight. We'll talk about that full forecast coming up in just a little bit. But Steve, for now, I'm going to eat this food. I'm going to send it back over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. A historic home on Mount Carmel School campus in Jackson burned earlier this week. Today, WYMT's Olivia Calfee spoke with the headmaster at the school to learn more about this devastating loss.
This is what's left of the historic campus home that the maintenance man and his family of Mount Carmel School lived in.
It only took, I actually timed it. By the time I got there, I looked at my phone, and it was about 6 minutes. It was the house inside was totally engulfed in flames.
Rauschenberger says the family living in the home lost all of their belongings along with their family cat and 2 birds.
Everything. Yeah, they lost all their belongings were in the house. Baby pictures, you know, all those things that, yeah, they lost everything, unfortunately.
He says this was the only building that caught on fire. The Jackson and Van Cleve fire departments were able to keep it from spreading.
I immediately, first thing I thought about was I sent word to our elementary building, which was right here on this side, and on that side is a girls' dorm. We did have one girl that was home that day sick.
No one on campus was injured, and he says it has been amazing to see how the community has come together to help their school family and already plan to rebuild this historic home that once belonged to the MTCS founder, Leila McConnell.
It was her private residence, and it was always called the McConnell Cottage. And so it has a lot of historic value for our campus and for the history of Mount Carmel School.
The Van Cleve fire chief and the headmaster both say they believe the cause of the fire was the electrical box. In Jackson, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
The Van Cleve fire chief tells us he's meeting with an inspector to look at the cause of the fire. Police arrested a Bell County man after they say he ran from them during a traffic stop. Officers with the Middlesboro Police Department posted on Facebook saying one of their officers stopped Joshua Sutton of Middlesboro for riding an ATV on a paved road. Police say Sutton took off and was caught a short time later. When officers searched him, they found what they believed to be several illegal drugs. Sutton is charged with fleeing and evading police on foot, 2 counts of trafficking in a controlled substance, and an ATV violation. One man is behind bars after what the Laurel County 7580 drug interdiction team says was a major drug bust. During a traffic stop, law enforcement discovered the driver, Barry Patton of Richmond, was driving on a suspended license. A K-9 unit was called in and alerted police to the possibility of drugs in the car. Several substances were reportedly found. Officers say they also found clear plastic baggies, a scale, a glass vial with white powder inside, and a handgun. Patton was arrested on multiple charges, including trafficking in a controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. The passenger was also cited for trafficking in a controlled substance. An Ohio man is in jail in Georgia. How does this impact Kentucky? Well, he's facing multiple charges here in the Commonwealth, too. The Williamsburg Police Department said 2 cars were broken into at Balltown Apartments in Whitley County during a 3-day investigation following the incident, which involved multiple agencies from across state lines. Police were able to recover the items in Dalton, Georgia, and identified the suspect in the case, 51-year-old Ernest Shackelford. Shackelford was arrested and is being held in Georgia, along with the theft charges in Whitley County. He's accused of running from police in Tennessee and Georgia, which led to several pursuits.
And we are tracking some showers and some cooler temperatures as we round out the work week. We'll talk all about it coming up in just a little bit.
And a building which has not been open to the public for nearly 70 years will open its doors this Halloween season to let you experience a spooky story in a mysterious place.
WYMT